Let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling a massive bottleneck in autoregressive video diffusion models, the historical context gradient gap. When scaling video generation to long horizons, models trained via standard self-forcing simply hit a wall. Why? Because they treat the historical key-value cache as nothing more than a frozen rollout state. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack the exact mechanics of a novel two-pass training strategy called self-gradient forcing. We'll see how it natively solves this gap, and crucially, how it does it without triggering those catastrophic memory blowouts we usually see with backpropagation through time.
Section 1. The context gradient gap. Okay, let's dive right into this. To really appreciate self-gradient forcing, we first need to analyze the fundamental flaw in the frozen cache architecture.
In standard self-forcing, a student model trains on histories produced by its own autoregressive rollout. Sure, this is fantastic for reducing exposure bias, but it leaves a critical missing link in the gradient flow. We call this the historical context gradient gap. See, during training, distribution matching distillation applies supervision at samples' noisy denoising time steps. But because the historical key-value cache is detached, future losses never backpropagate into the clean context time step. And that's a huge problem because that's the exact computation responsible for encoding earlier generated latents into memory. The result? The clean context writing path drifts. The model learns how to read the cache just fine, but it completely forgets how to write useful future readable memory. Take a close look at this architectural breakdown. In the top section representing standard self-forcing, you'll spot a red dashed line. That indicates blocked gradients. The KV cache is completely detached. Now, contrast that with the bottom section illustrating SGF. SGF actively restores those cross-frame KV gradients. It activates a bounded context gradient flow, which basically allows future losses to directly supervise exactly how self-generated history is written. It's a fundamental shift in credit assignment.
Section 2. SGF two-pass training. So how exactly do we restore this gradient without forcing our GPUs to retain an impossibly massive computational graph? The answer lies right here.
So the crucial point is that this bounded two-step approach completely bypasses the need to retain the full serial autograd graph. Keeping the historical KV cache fully differentiable in a serial rollout scales memory overhead to infinity. Instead, SGF splits the process into a strict recording phase and a parallel reconstruction phase. It perfectly isolates the gradient computation to exactly and only where it's needed. Let's break down Pass 1. Think of this strictly as an inference matching data collection phase. The model executes a true serial autoregressive rollout exactly as it would during generation, but with gradient tracking completely shut off. The system just records the self-generated context and the noisy latents being fed to the model at a specific randomly sampled denoising exit step. Simple enough, right? Then we hit Pass 2, and this is where the algorithmic magic happens. The system completely throws out that heavy rollout cache from Pass 1. Instead, it takes the recorded fixed context and feeds it back in as a stop gradient clean latent input. Gradients flow smoothly through the clean context forward pass, the K/V projections, and the future to context causal attention. But crucially, they never backpropagate through the sampled rollout trajectory itself. We close the gap entirely without paying the recursive memory tax. Section 3. Memory efficiency. Now, understanding the theoretical gradient boundary is great, but we really need to look at the computational viability of this approach. How does this actually stack up empirically against native backpropagation through time? If you attempt a direct differentiable cache, meaning you retain the serial activation graph across the entire rollout length and denoising depth, you're guaranteeing a catastrophic out-of-memory failure. It is literally a researcher's worst nightmare. SGF, however, utilizes a bounded exit step replay. It turns a serial graph retention nightmare into a highly efficient, fixed-window parallel recomputation, and it accomplishes this by heavily leveraging flex attention with static block sparse causal masks. To put this feasibility into perspective, check out this peak memory statistic, 87.01 gigabytes. That means SGF adds a mere 8 gigabytes of peak overhead compared to a frozen cache model. But here is the real kicker. Because we discard that rollout cache, SGF actually decreases the stable memory footprint during training, dropping it from 79 gigabytes down to around 63 gigabytes. That is incredibly efficient. Section 4. Long horizon outcomes. Let's pivot from architectural efficiency to the empirical outcomes. We are looking at massive 240-second native extrapolations achieved from merely a 5-second training window. Now, what's really interesting about this data is the sheer delta in long horizon stability. Look at the frame-wise 240-second metrics here.
Across the board, whether initialized with causal ODE, causal CEE, or TF, SGF consistently, absolutely crushes it in subject consistency and aesthetic stability. The future losses are finally teaching the model how to write self-generated latents into durable memory, and the numbers absolutely prove it. And this performance holds up flawlessly even when we shift to chunkwise generation. When we isolate the 240-second metrics for chunkwise rollouts, it proves that the context gradient signal remains highly effective. It successfully stabilizes the model even when memory is updated at much coarser, multi-frame granularities. It just translates perfectly across temporal resolutions.
Section 5. Visual enhancements. But numbers only tell half the story in video diffusion. Let's get into the qualitative visual proofs to see exactly how SGF mechanically resolves the catastrophic identity drift and view jumps that plague current long-horizon models.
And this brilliantly illustrates the point. Track the top sequence representing standard self-forcing in this 240-second prompt. Notice how the entire scene just completely breaks around the 192-second mark? The subject's identity drifts drastically. Now look at the SGF sequence right below it. By properly supervising that KV writing computation, SGF maintains absolutely flawless subject retention, pose consistency, and background layout for the entire 4-minute duration. We see the exact same mechanical advantage playing out in these cinematic prompts. In the baseline generations, just observe the severe crop drift on the Parisian man, and then the eventual total texture collapse in the tabby cat sequence. Without context gradient supervision, self-generated memory is wildly unreliable. SJF, on the other hand, strictly maintains persistent object scale geometric integrity and exact camera distance throughout the deep extrapolation.
Let's move to a highly complex lighting scenario and see how this builds. In the standard self-forcing sequence on the left, it actually appears locally plausible in the early frames, but that's a false indicator. As the frames progress, the layout accumulates destructive changes purely because the memory writing was never optimized for long horizon reading. Conversely, the SGF sequence remains perfectly stable. It proves that true long-horizon memory utility is basically impossible without proper gradient forcing. So what does this all mean for us? SGF has fundamentally proven that we can close the historical context gradient gap without surrendering our memory overhead to recurrent autograph graphs. But this leaves us with a truly compelling architectural question for the field. As we begin merging self-gradient forcing with emerging long-context tuning, sparse attention mechanisms, and KV compression, just how close are we to finally achieving infinite horizon autoregressive video generation with zero memory degradation? The foundation is definitely built. The next step is infinite scale.